Welcome back to my channel. My name is Peyton Hawes, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new Hulu, I'm calling it a docuseries, but it's really like reality TV, but the new series, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And today I'll be talking about episode 6. So if you have not seen episodes 1 through 5, go watch those first and then come back to this one. And the reason I'm a good person to talk about this stuff is because I am an ex-Mormon myself, Utah living wife and mom. I've been starting all of these episodes saying this in case you don't care to watch episodes 1 through 5 and you're like, no, I'm just gonna skip. I only want to watch episode 6. But yeah, I met my husband here in Utah shortly after moving here, and 4.5 weeks after we met, we were engaged, and 4.5 weeks after that, we were married. So we had the very typical Utah wedding shebang, all that jazz. So yeah, I left the church about 2 years ago. I still have my records in the church, but I am not an active believing member whatsoever. And I create content on here talking about why. And I haven't been excommunicated yet. So we'll see if and when that happens. And, you know, maybe it'll make a good video. Anyway, so episode 6 starts off with everybody at Jesse's salon. People are getting their hair done. And someone brings up that Whitney unfollowed everyone on Instagram. So people are like, oh, what happened? And everyone's checking their phones. And yeah, people are just pretty annoyed with her drama with this whole situation right now. So yeah, then Jessie decides that she's gonna host a painting party and have everyone paint. Can I say this word? I could say this word on YouTube because this is a scientific word. Okay, well, she's having everyone paint a vagina in honor of her labiaplasty that she's having. And she said she needs inspo, which I thought was funny. She said that she's had her boobs done like, I think 3 times. And then, spoiler alert, she gets them done again when she goes to do her labiaplasty. So I thought that that was funny. And Jesse's husband, Jordan, said that if the doctor says she can't have sex for 4 to 6 weeks, what does her dentist say? That was good. That was a good one. That was a good one. Okay, if I'm laughing alone, sorry, not sorry, but I thought that is absolutely something my husband would say. So, and it makes me feel loved and wanted. Taylor says in a little side interview that she thinks Dakota wants marriage more and more because Taylor doesn't. And so kind of like he's trying to get something that he can't have. And if he knew he could have it easily, would he really want it that much? And I'll reiterate, like I said in the last video, I think Dakota thinks that marriage is going to solve all their problems. And it's just not. That's not how it works. It's a piece of paper that legally binds you. It doesn't do anything about your relationship, your problems. What the? Okay. It doesn't do anything for your relationship or any of your problems. That is like therapy, or if you yourself need to be medicated, I don't know. But marriage is not going to solve your problems. If you don't have a good relationship, marriage is not going to make it better. It might actually make you feel trapped and worse. So Jessie is planning a big girls trip for everyone, and she wants it to kind of be in honor of Layla's birthday that's coming up. So they want to celebrate her, but also just make a big girls trip out of it. And Zach and Dakota are joining the girls on the trip. Now, Dakota's Taylor's boyfriend. We talk about him all the time, but Zach is Jen's husband, in case you forgot. And they're saying that Dakota wants to come because he doesn't want to be in a different city than Taylor because she's so close to giving birth, that he wants to be with her in case anything happens, which makes sense. But Jessie thinks that they're actually coming to keep their eyes on their women to make sure they stay in line. And a part of me kind of feels like that's true too. Like Zach kind of seems like he might be controlling, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like I agree with Jessie in this, but who am I to say? Now, do you guys remember in episode 1 when Demi was talking about how her and her husband were at the swinging parties and they didn't know that it was the swinging parties, and how the other guys were asking Demi's husband if he's the jealous type, and he's like, well, I don't share if that's what you're asking. Well, Macy and her husband are getting ready. They're at Macy and her husband's house right now. It's just Macy. Oh my gosh, I can't even talk. The show, all the cameras are at Macy and her husband's house, and Macy's getting ready for the trip and they're just talking about it. And Macy asked her husband if he's jealous that she's going to be going to Vegas without him, and he laughs and looks at her and says that he doesn't get jealous. And I don't know if that's me just like foreshadowing a little bit, but I was like, this word jealous is being thrown around. Like, are you the jealous type? And I don't know. It kind of felt like Macy's husband was being like, I don't get jealous, and was kind of like looking at her. And I was like, what does this mean? I kind of got the vibes that Demi's husband was a little bit jealous that she was going. And I feel like he was being like more playful than anything, because like Demi is just like kind of being playful back with him. But it kind of seems like that he's more so sad and is going to miss her and is just kind of like, I don't know, just like being playful with her, which I thought was kind of cute. And then when it's at Jen and Zach's house, Jen asks Zach, like, how would you feel if we went to a Magic Mike concert? And then he made a joke about them being divorced and how hard her life would be if they were divorced. And she was like, she did not laugh. Like, it was not a joke. And he's like, she's just looking at him like, and then there's a little side interview where Jen says that Zach can be pretty controlling, but that he loves her more than anybody else has ever loved her. And I was like, those are two weird sentences to put together. Just because he loves you more than anybody else has ever loved you doesn't give him a right to like control everything over your life. Like, the opinion of your spouse definitely matters. When you're in a relationship, you are choosing to live that life with your partner and create a life together. And in my opinion, that means the opinion of both parties matter, and you have to be willing to compromise on certain things. And compromise does not mean one of the person's opinions or feelings gets like swept under the rug to please the other person. Like, there are certain things that are big enough where like both of you have got to like hash this out or talk it out, because you're not going to control everything about my life and I'm not going to control everything about your life. Our life is one right now and both of our feelings matter. And if you butt heads on every little thing, then maybe that's not a relationship worth having. And I'm not saying that that's how I feel about Jen and Zach's relationship, but I'm just saying that in a general sense. And then Jen admits that Zach has had a gambling problem in the past. And so, you know, she's telling Zach that, you know, I'm giving you $2,500, and if you lose it all, I'm gonna be mad. Like, kind of like that's your limit. Like, that's as much as you're getting. But also, if you lose it all, like, I'm gonna be pretty upset. Which that's a lot of money to lose in general. Like, I'm pretty sure my husband Colin has like gambled like maybe $100 before, and I'm pretty sure he lost it all and was like, I'm never doing that again. That was horrible. Like, for us, like, I don't know. I feel like $100, look, $100 doesn't get you very much anymore in life, but it still feels like a lot to me, considering the fact that I have to spend like $1,000 on groceries every month. I say groceries, but okay, I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about this right now. I'm not going to start talking about inflation. Keep on topic, Peyton. Taylor and Dakota show up to Jen and Zach's house because they're all going to drive to Vegas together, since Taylor is very pregnant. She's not allowed to fly anymore because she's too close to delivering. And so they're all going to drive together. And when they show up, they're fighting about the same stuff as always. It seems toxic to me. Jen is saying that it seems toxic, and even once they start driving, Taylor makes a comment about their fighting being very toxic and like, why should we get married? This is just toxic. And Dakota's trying to say that their fighting is very normal, and she's like, okay, we're fighting every day. It seems toxic. While they're in the car, Jen ultimately tells Dakota and Taylor that having a baby together is either going to make or break the relationship, because having a baby is hard. And I would agree. Having a baby is beautiful and amazing and one of the best feelings in life. Sometimes I just like crave that feeling of like having a new baby, and I just want to see the little newborn scrunch, and like I'll feel like I'm getting baby fever. But then, like, it's almost like you forget a lot of the hard things because there's so much love for the child and time has passed and you just remember all of the beautiful, good things about the time. But you also, like, you're like, oh, yeah, it was hard to sleep and my hormones were all over the place and I was crying all the time and I was bloating and postpartum pain is hard. And all, like, there's a lot of stuff that's still hard, especially when it's like your first child. And this will be Dakota's first child. So now, the first group of girls is showing up to the rental, which is pretty much all the girls except for Whitney, because Whitney's still not going with them for all of the stuff. And Taylor and Jen are not there yet because they're driving. But all the ones who flew are there, and the rental they got is gorgeous, by the way. I loved it. I was like, I want to rent that place if I had money. Looks like I probably can't afford it. But they're talking about how they hope the guys don't stay and linger around because it's supposed to be a girls' trip. And Layla has a little side interview and says she doesn't know why the guys have so much separation anxiety. And she's like, you guys can survive a weekend without your women. It's gonna be okay. And I was like, yes, Layla, say it. Speak your mind. Jessie is the one who got the rental and planned the whole girls' trip. So she's also annoyed that the guys invited themselves. They all show up, yada yada. Taylor and Jen show up. Jessie had put a sign on the door that says labias only, meaning like she didn't want the guys to come in. They come in anyway because it was kind of a joke, but they were seriously like, don't linger. Zach makes like a funny comment about how, he was joking. He said that Jen is an adult and she can do whatever she wants to do when it comes to the girls' trip. And then someone was like, wait, do you actually mean that? And he's like, absolutely not. Like, and people were like, okay, why are you like pretending that you're cool in front of all of us? And you're really not. You're just like controlling. And they weren't saying that to his face. There was like little side interviews talking about that. The girls are getting ready to go out and Macy tells Michaela that she has a secret. And Demi ends up coming in. So she's talking to Michaela and Demi. And she said that someone anonymously admitted something through a little segment she does called Sinner Sunday, where every Sunday people confess their sins, which I think is like such a cute, funny thing to do on social media, mind you. Honestly, I think Macy and I would get along the most out of all the girls. I feel like I'm very much so like a mediator. Communication is key. I want people to get along. I love relationships and friendships. I can like let loose, but there's also like certain parts of me that are conservative that I don't talk a lot about. But anyway, I just like love most people, but if I feel like someone has red flags or bad energy, like I'm not afraid to say it or talk about it with people, and I try to protect the people that I love. And so in that sense, I feel like we're a lot. And she's a germaphobe like me. We have a lot of similarities. Macy, call me. Like she's never gonna see this. Oh my god. But yeah, so someone admitted through the Sinner Sunday thing that they accidentally slept with Dakota before she knew that they were together. And so she's like, I feel like Taylor should know. Like, what should I do? And Macy, Michaela, and Demi are all wondering if it's potentially from someone named Jenna, which is one of Dakota's exes. And they kind of are talking about when they were in the penthouse for, what was that for again? Oh, it was for Macy's birthday. So a few episodes ago, they, played a game, and one of the questions for Taylor was, if you were to find out that Dakota actually had slept with Jenna that night, would you leave him? And he says, absolutely, 1000% would be dead to me. And so Demi is like, what if it is Jenna and that did happen and Dakota's been lying about it and we don't tell her, then Taylor could have this baby and they can get married and then she could find about it later and then be like going through another divorce. So Demi's like, I think you should tell her. Then all the cameras shift to all the girls getting onto a party bus that Demi rented for everyone. They're all super excited. And they're just getting amped up for their night. And Jessie has like a surprise for everybody on like where they're going and what they're going to do. And she's like just waiting until they all get there and you'll find out where we're going. And Jessie says she's a little bit nervous that the husbands might be mad. So all of a sudden Jen perks up and she's like worried, and she's like, it's not a strip club. And Jessie's like, it's entertainment. It's entertainment. And I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? I'm watching the show like, but they said it's called Chippendales. So she kind of just tells them ahead of time that it's Chippendales. So they're kind of like searching like what's Chippendales on their phones. They get there, and I guess Jessie paid for some type of package for them to meet all of the guys in this show, the entertainers, they're calling them. And they have like a bunch of oil, and they have Layla rubbing the oil all over the guys' like chests and arms, and she's just like putting it on all the guys. And some of them are like living for it. Like Demi is like, Layla is just living it up, being the only single one in the group, and I love this for her. I hope she gets a bunch of numbers by the end of the night. Like Demi's loving it. And Jen is like looking at the floor. She's like very visibly uncomfortable, and she's like, I hate this. Jen tells Macy that Zach would literally leave her over something like this. And Jessie's like super confused. She's like, why do people care about what their boyfriends and husbands think? And she's like, there must be something missing in their relationship, because I know my husband wouldn't care about this. And even Demi comes on, and she's like, I don't know why the husbands are being like this either, or boyfriends, because like, she's like, you can go out with your girls and have a good time and wear what you want and still be loyal to your husband or your boyfriend or whoever it is, which I agree. So I'm not sure if Zach called Jen at this point or if Jen called Zach. But all of a sudden you see them on the phone, and Jen is just like, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. Like Macy literally came here with her mom. Like I didn't know. And all of a sudden she starts crying, and she's just like begging him. She's like, please, can you just think about me right now? Like, I didn't know. Like, and she's like, please just think about me. And she's like crying. And so Taylor comes over to like start comforting her, and you see like, it kind of looks like Zach hung up on her. I don't know for sure, but she's just crying, and Taylor's like, she's very obviously confused. Taylor's like, what's going on? Like Zach is so mad. Like he's saying he doesn't want to be married to her when he doesn't want to be married to her when she does stuff like this. And Taylor's like, we didn't even know that we were going to be here, and Zach's being dramatic and all this stuff. And then the end of the episode shows Jen in a little side interview, and she's like, I don't think that this is just about Chippendales. I think there's more to the story than that. Like, I think it's more than that. And it kind of ends. So I'm really excited to go watch episodes 7 and 8 now and take my notes, and film those videos this upcoming week for you guys. But yeah, stay tuned. Tell me what you've been thinking of the show so far in the comments. Who do you like? Who do you not like, or is not your favorite? Tell me why. If you made it to the end of the video, leave a yellow heart emoji to tell me, so I know if you like this length of video, if this is working well for people. And don't forget to subscribe. If you like this kind of content, you like hearing me ramble, you like learning about Mormons or ex-Mormons or stuff like this. And yeah, we've got a lot of new people on the channel, and I'm excited about it. So let's have combos in the chat, guys. Let's go. I love you guys. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.